For over a decade, Call of Duty was unstoppable, a cultural titan, a yearly phenomenon that dominated sales, charts, and defined online gaming. It shaped an entire generation of first-person shooters, but today, the franchise sits at a crossroads struggling with its identity, alienating long-time fans, and falling behind a rapidly evolving industry. This is the story of what caused Call of Duty's downfall. The year is 2012. Black Ops 2 is just launched, and Call of Duty is on top of the world. Midnight release lines wrap around buildings, YouTube is exploding with montages and commentaries and even trick shots, and every kid at school is talking about Nuketown and League Player. This was the peak of Call of Duty, the golden age. But at the time, no one knew this would be the last time they experienced that kind of dopamine hit from Call of Duty. Losing its identity. Call of Duty once stood for something really simple. Fast, arcade-style shooter that was grounded and believable with boots-on-the-ground warfare. It had a clear identity, and it kind of owned that lane. But as the FPS genre evolved, Activision became more and more obsessed with chasing trends. One year, the franchise tried to become Battlefield, with 2019 being a prime example, with large-scale maps, vehicle combat, and realism within the actual gun itself, with the way it moved, from how you ran, from breaking things, from punching. Everything just sort of went in one direction, like it was trying to become Battlefield. The next, it leaned into hero abilities like Overwatch, which was Black Ops 3, IW, and even Black Ops 4, when you think of the specialist abilities, each one having their own hero-esque abilities. And then it pivoted again. This time, chasing Fortnite with cosmetics, colourful bundles, and live service gimmicks. And it really felt out of place, and the fans really felt it. Each reinvention diluted what made Call of Duty, well, Call of Duty. The series began to feel less like a leader and more like a shapeshifter, imitating whatever was popular at the time rather than refining its own strengths. Battle Royale explosion. In 2017, something changed. Battle Royale game modes started to really pique people's interest. Games like PUBG and even Fortnite coming around really started to take players from Call of Duty's fanbase, and people wanted to try out these new games. The BR genre turned games into a streaming platform spectacular where unpredictable last man standing moments created viral clips and massive social engagement. But traditional multiplayer, including Call of Duty's classic formula, suddenly felt outdated. Activision, being Activision, reacted fast, and Blackout was introduced in Black Ops 4. It was promising, bit unpolished, but it was an attempt to capitalize on the trend. But it wasn't until Warzone came out where that true pivot point became really exposed. Blackout was their first iteration of Battle Royale, and it was really fun. It was really good and played like a BR. However, with it being locked behind buying the game and not being free to play like Fortnite, it really didn't do too well in comparison. That's why, fast forward a year, when Warzone was revealed, it was free to play. Players flocked to it during the pandemic as well. So at first, Warzone revitalized the franchise. But over time, it consumed everything. Development resources, design philosophy, marketing direction. Traditional multiplayer and campaign modes and even zombies became afterthoughts and overshadowed by the live service behemoth that Activision had created. Call of Duty wasn't evolving anymore. It was reacting, and constantly reacting is a losing game. We look at what happened during the Warzone period of COVID-19, the pandemic, and lockdown. The game was so popular, and so was Modern Warfare 19. But if you look deeper, you know that Modern Warfare 19 was not a good game. It broke so many things that made Call of Duty, and Warzone saved that game. And Activision took notice. And we're like, look at how many people are playing our game. So they thought this must be the formula. Which then set us on a path that we are still following to this day. Microtransactions and the death of goodwill. One of the defining traits of Call of Duty's downfall was the dramatic rise in microtransactions. Loot boxes give way to bundles, bundles give way to skins, skins give way to collaboration packs. Every update added a shop tab. Another crossover, another $20 cosmetic that just didn't fit the tone of the franchise at all. Call of Duty slowly shifted from a premium experience to a monetization machine. New content felt designed and not to be fun, but, encouraged the spending. Come and buy it. The result? Players felt nickel and dimed in the game that they had already paid $70 for. The erosion of trust created a fracture between the developers and their audience, one that only grew deeper with time. People were paying $70 for the game at launch, and then finding themselves having to pay $20, $30, $40 extra every few months because they wanted a nice skin or they wanted a bundle, and they were getting forced down your throat at every chance you get. We go look at Modern Warfare 2 2022 as a prime example with their Netflix UI. Everything was an advertisement. All these skins, all of these new things they were adding with bundles. You just couldn't get away for it, but you were spending $20, $30 extra on top of the $70 you paid. So Call of Duty was releasing half-broken games with ridiculous price tags already, and then adding more ridiculous price tags for more digital content. Players were really starting to get annoyed and get a little bit frustrated with the model that Activision had started to lay out all the way back in 2019. Fun versus frustration. Skill-based matchmaking became one of the most controversial topics in franchise history. While intended to protect newer players, SBMM fundamentally altered the experience for everyone else. Matches became sweatier, casual lobbies disappeared, fun loadout experimentation died, every match felt like a tournament, and players burned out faster than ever. Worse yet, Activision refused to acknowledge the issue publicly, creating a clear divide between what the players wanted and what the publishers insisted on delivering. For many, skill-based matchmaking wasn't just a mechanic. It was the point where the franchise stopped being fun. If we take a little trip back in time, all the way to Modern Warfare 2 2009, which is highly regarded as one of the best Call of Duties of all time, it was fun because it was so raw. And I will use my own personal experience. When I was coming home from school, I would boot up Modern Warfare 2 with my ACR class, my intervention class, my M4A1, and I'd be running in and I'd be getting gunned. I was probably 11 years old, 10 years old, getting absolutely smoked. If I did good, I was feeling great. But I didn't think I'm going to leave because I'm getting beat. I thought, I want to beat this guy. How can I play better? I'd copy their classes. I would change how I played. And that's how the majority of players back then, and that's a big reason why they enjoyed the game. It gave competition, but it wasn't needed to be going up against people of your own skill. It was, I want to play everyone, and if I'm better, I'm better. If I'm worse, I'm worse. And it really added to the experience. Black Ops 2 being the same thing, and skill-based matchmaking was kind of in the game the whole time, but it wasn't what it is today. Where you go into a game, you play slightly well, and you get punished for being good. And then you go and have to play against someone who literally doesn't know the colour of grass. No. Over time, skill-based matchmaking became basically a selling point for Activision to their shareholders, showing off their retention rates and saying that it was the best thing since sliced bread. And that's one of the biggest shifts, I think, especially in my opinion, that changed how the developers, how the producers, being Activision, and the fanbase all looked. They all looked in different ways. I mean, the developers have their hands tied, the fanbase want another thing, Treyarch go, oh, but I would like to do this. And then here comes Activision, no, crank it, this, crank it, that. And they have to do it. And it's a far fall from reality compared to what it was back in the day, where players could just have fun, spawn in, and just have crazy different matches every time. Ignoring the fans. Call of Duty's community is not small, and it is not quiet, and it certainly isn't shy about giving feedback. But for years, that feedback was ignored. Classic maps were removed without explanation, fan-favourite features were abandoned, balance issues stayed unresolved for seasons. The perception grew that Activision wasn't listening, that player voices didn't matter. When your fanbase no longer feels valued, the relationship breaks. And in gaming, few things are harder to repair than lost trust. Take a look at Modern Warfare 2 2022 again, when Infinity Ward came out and said, no, you don't know what you want. We know what you want. And it was just complete arrogance. And they didn't care. They wanted to release a product that they wanted, not what the players wanted. Gone were the days where, for example, Black Ops 2 would say, we're dropping this because you've asked for it. We're dropping that because we've asked for it. And look, I will say Black Ops 7 so far they've done better. They've done a lot better with listening to the feedback, changing things. I'm not defending some of the things they have done, but this current moment compared to 2022, it is a clear night and day difference. But when you've already shown that you do not care about your fan base, whether it's for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 years, 5 months, 10 years, whatever, once you show that side, that trust either breaks instantly, depending on how bad it is, or it starts to fade, and then you lose trust. I mean, let's take a look at the skill-based matchmaking situation now in Black Ops 7. People are convinced, myself included, that they have done sort of a rug pull and kept some of it in there to a degree. You know, if that is the case, or whether that isn't the case, it doesn't matter. Because of their bad practices and them not listening to the fans and the trust is not there, nobody believes them. So even if it isn't there, people do not want to believe it because of how much bad omen Activision have put into our minds. The shareholder problem. At some point, Call of Duty stopped being a passion project and became a financial obligation. With billions on the line, Activision prioritized yearly releases, predictable revenue streams, and aggressive monetization. Shareholders came first. Creativity came second. Developers were stretched thin, working across multiple studios, engines, and deadlines. Annual releases left no time for innovation. Risk-taking was discouraged. Stability, financial stability, became the only priority, and the franchise suffered for it. Year after year, we were given games with lackluster storylines, terrible bug features, just completely broken games. Vanguard came out with, I mean, I think if I was to put a guess and have a shot in the dark at the ballpark, maybe 50, 60 bugs at launch, maybe even 100. There was so many things wrong with the game, and again, down to that exact reason of having so many problems at launch because they didn't care. They didn't have the, oh, well, we need to make sure the game plays well. It's no, we have a deadline to hit, we need to be financially blah, 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 we need to be stable. And this is a big reason why the creativity has also gone downhill. And that gets me to the next point. The era of reboots and recycling. When creativity dries up, nostalgia kind of becomes the fallback. The Modern Warfare series was rebooted, Zombies was recycled, maps were reskinned, campaign missions became homages to older missions, while entire games felt more like remixes more than reinventions. The franchise that once pushed boundaries became predictable, safe even. Call of Duty was no longer reinventing the FPS genre, it was just trying to repackage the past. And quite frankly, we can look at this even to this day. The last 6-7 years have been identical. Mechanics feel identical, the games have been lackluster, the campaigns have been lackluster, and they just stick that exact title on another thing. Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7, Black Ops Cold War, Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. You know, like, it's just lack of creativity, and I don't think it's the studios, I don't think it's the developers. I think it's Activision saying, we know we can make guaranteed millions, so we're just going to stick to it. We're going to do everything we can to stick to this exact same franchise to make the money. We don't care what they think. We just don't care. And in my opinion, and you're entitled to your own, of course, let me know in the comments below, when I think of the best time for change, it isn't the golden era of Call of Duty between COD 4 and Black Ops 2. I think it's Ghosts till Black Ops 4, the Silver era, Jetpack era, whatever you want to call it. Were the games as good? No, probably not. But hear me out. We had Ghosts, which was set in like 2028 or 2026 or something. We then got Advanced Warfare, which completely changed the game, was futuristic, jetpacks came in. We then had Black Ops 3 that was set even more futuristic with hover jetpack sort of things, and just completely, it felt night and day difference. Then Infinite Warfare felt a bit similar, but it was set in like a space thing, so it was completely different. And then they did a U-turn and went World War II. And then went to Black Ops 4. Like, it was, every year felt unique. Every year felt like the game was its own entity, and it was a different studio. It was a different game. Gone are the days where we had that. Where, oh my god, have you seen this? It's a new game. We've got all these new mechanics, all these new features, yada, yada, yada. I mean, the sliding alone has been in the game now every year. And, you know, the slide cancelling, now the diving's now permanent. Like, I miss, personally, of course, I miss the days where every year felt different and you had to adapt and play different games, not that it was a DLC from another game. And that's where creativity comes into it. They have had no creativity. I mean, I saw the Black Ops 7 trailer when it first got revealed, and I saw the name, and I just laughed. And I said, my God, it's crazy to me that Black Ops 7, we've just had Black Ops 6. Can you not think of something along the lines of, like, Call of Duty XYZ, like, something different? You know, just even the name being different means you've tried to do something out the ordinary and make a new game. And I say out the ordinary because for them it is now. But it's just kind of crazy to me that we sit and look at these games year after year and they are identical. And that's where the reboots and the recycling becomes a huge problem.
50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town.
Can Call of Duty rise again? Call of Duty's downfall wasn't created by one single decision. It was a decade of missteps and series of compromises that chipped away at the identity, creativity, and connection with its fans. Not all is lost. The franchise still has incredible talent behind it. I mean, Treyarch have proven that. And, you know, unmatched resources and a player base that wants to love it again. And that's just the key to it all. The question is Call of Duty gonna return to greatness because they understand they have failed? Probably not. Activision need to be understanding of the situation and need to be willing to listen. They need to be willing to innovate and finally let Call of Duty what it always has been: fast, fun, and unmistakably Call of Duty. They need to stop putting shareholders first and put the player base, the player's desires, the player's wants first. Make differences. Make the games feel like each year, if you want us to pay $70, make the game worth $70. Make the game be unique, be new. So let's use Black Ops 7 as an example. Okay, you've just had Black Ops 6 that was basically one of the worst Call of Duties of all time. You could have then said, okay, let's release a game that's going to play like Black Ops 7 does right now. But let's call it something different, and let's change the art style, let's change the mechanics, and let's call it something like tactical warfare, I don't know, for example, something different, okay? And someone boots this game up in the beta, and it plays similar to Black Ops 7 now, but it looks completely different. It looks like its own entity. The game isn't completely rapid or brain rot movement. And you could sit there and play it and feel like this game isn't Black Ops 6. You know? If they'd have done that, this would have made a big difference to the fan base. But people are so fed up with playing the same stuff and paying $70. If COD was $40, I wouldn't have as big as an issue. I think a lot of people wouldn't. But $70 for the same reskinned product every single year is what is drastically killing Call of Duty. They are not making changes that go in line with what people want. People don't want to sit there and say, oh, are you getting the new COD? Well, why? When I can play this one from last year, which is literally identical, just with different maps and guns. Because that's what it is. But if I was to say, yo, you want to play some Black Ops 2? Or do you want to play some Advanced Warfare? It's completely different. Two completely different games, different genres of style, and yeah, it really separated what people enjoyed playing. Now, it's all just one big blend. People don't enjoy the product. I mean, look, I enjoyed the multiplayer of Black Ops 7 for the first time in a good few years because it feels sort of rewarding in a way. You know, the lack of aim assist, the maps being really nice with the remasters looking good. The actual default maps don't feel brain rot as such. And there are some good changes there. Do I think there's a lot more to be improved? Of course, but going on the trend of Modern Warfare 3 2023, it felt like we were going in the right direction. And then it just happens again. Sadly, the reality of the situation with Call of Duty's downfall is it's all down to money and greediness from Activision. The only way Call of Duty thrives again is if it goes back to, let's make it for the fun. Let's make it for the fans and have some fun with it and be unique and let players just do what they want in the game and feel that old vibe. But I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to drop a like and a sub if you are new. As always, it helps out a ton. And I'll catch you in the next one.